Okay, people. So Frank Mannion is back. This time with Quintessentially Irish. He produces the film. Music is handled by James Jones. Charlie Emesis edits. Um, yeah, we've got a cast of um who's in it? We've got Pierce Brosnan, Jeremy Irons, Prince Albert II of Monaco, Randall Plunkett, President Michael D. Higgins, Usain Bolt, Ricky Sims, and Emma Dabiri. Right there, we see with Shannon Horrigan, Andrew Scott. Yeah, we just basically a who's who of famous Irish people, you know? The gist is this: a love letter to all things great and Irish that reveals some surprising facts about what it means to be Irish. Enter a glamorous world of castles, palaces, and presidents that reveals fascinating views on the Irish and their vast influence on the world. Right, so yeah, there we go. Now, back in December 2022, right, on episode 232, I believe, we looked at Frank's last documentary, Quintessentially British. So yeah, I don't know if he's gonna do more. Like, is there gonna be a quintessentially Scottish? Quintessentially Welsh. Like, where does this stop? I wonder. But yeah, I mean, these things are very odd. I mean, I'm not a huge, national pride person, right? I'm not flying a flag, right? I'm not wearing a, you know, a national football top, rugby top, whatever it is. That's not me. That's never me. I don't sing the national anthem, partly because I've never felt welcome. You know what I mean? And also, when you've been chased by the National Front numerous times, yeah, you don't really want that association. You know what I mean? But, I know there's a load of people that do wear that as a pride. I'm proud to be Irish. I'm proud to be Scottish. I'm proud to be British. All of that, which is fine. I don't really care, you know? But yeah, this kind of thing is probably made for those type of people, because it's just, I don't know, just talking to a load of, it just feels like it's conversations with random people about, you know, being Irish. There's some interesting conversation. Like conversation with Pierce Brosnan was pretty interesting at the beginning, right? Because, it was just like him and his wife took a chance, basically. She came up with the money and they went to America, and it just so happens that the first casting call he went on was Remington Steele, which is just like, I mean, that's kind of crazy, right? So that stuff, yeah, that's kind of interesting, but it doesn't really have anything to do with being Irish. You know what I mean? That's Pierce's story. That's interesting, but that's just Pierce, right? There is a point when Frank said to Pierce, he's like, oh, some would say you're living the American dream, but would you say it's the Irish dream? And Pierce was just like, well, I mean, it's my dream, right? This is what I wanted to do, and I ended up making it happen. So that's great. I don't know if I can say it's anyone else's, and that's what it is, right? Like what you may perceive as being quintessentially is going to be different to someone else. You know, there's a lot of sweeping statements that get made with these sorts of things, right? Like, oh, the Irish are so welcoming. The Irish know how to have fun. The Irish are, and it's just like, I mean, I've known some really friendly Irish people. I've known some asshole Irish people. You know what I mean? It's just what it is. It's the same with everyone. You know, like whatever country they're from, there's going to be nice people, there's going to be shit people, there's going to be indifferent people. Right? You can't ever say this nation is this nation is that. No, because that's ludicrous. You know what I mean? Like it's when you hear people be like, "Oh yes, all Germans are Nazis," right? It's dumb, right? Those sorts of statements are stupid. So it is a little bit bizarre, I find. And again, that might just be me. That might just be me. I mean, to be honest, people, I'm feeling like shit today. So, sitting through a 2-hour documentary it's not been the easiest of things. Um, yeah, but yeah, there's just all of these, because it's like talking about Irish wine, right? And they're like, "Oh yes, did you know Irish? There's Irish wine," and it's just like, "Oh, interesting." I'm thinking, "Oh, what part of Ireland do they have the vineyards?" Now, basically, it was some Irish people went to Bordeaux, right, and set up vineyards in Bordeaux. So it's like, okay, so it's Irish. You could say it's Irish owned wine, but you know, it's not actually Irish wine. Right? Because it's like champagne. Champagne is champagne because it's made in that one district, right? And I think that's a big thing. It's like I think Guinness. You can't call it Guinness if it's not made in Ireland. I mean, there's only two places in the world that are allowed to make Guinness, and I think that's Jamaica and Nigeria, I believe. But anywhere else, I think you just call it stout. Right? I believe that's the thing. I think stout is Guinness, but just yeah, not made in Ireland. Right? So that's the thing. So you can't say that, but then say, "Oh, that wine is Irish." Right? Because it's made in France. Right? You can say it's Irish owned, though it's not anymore. You know what I mean? But yeah, it's just I don't know. There's a load of random things like that. Now there's some interesting history, but I think everywhere's got interesting history when you break it down. There's been migrations from most countries, right? Like, I think it's when people do those 23andMe's, it's just like, oh, I've got some no, Norwegian in me, some Dane in me, some German, some French, and some, yeah, because, you know, everyone just moved around a lot. You know what I mean? You have invasions and attacks and stuff and rape and pillage and blah 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 blah. So you get that mix. Like people from Ireland went to America, right? But people from England, people from Jamaica, people from Nigeria, people from so many places went to the States, right? Yeah, I mean, so yeah, there's certain countries that do have a large imprint, and when you have that, you have people doing extraordinary things. You'll have people, who built the White House, who, built something else and built this other thing and did this other, yeah, because I mean, what do you expect to happen? You know? So I mean, look, there is definitely some interesting things in this documentary, but I didn't feel it needed to be 2 hours. I thought 2 hours was very long, and there is this irritating music played throughout. Like, you've got people talking and this irritating music is playing, and I hate that. I am not a fan of musical beds when there doesn't need to be one. I'm just like, yo, let the conversation be the thing that pulls people, right? That's the selling point. We don't need the other stuff. Like, what are we doing? You know? And there was one thing that really, really irritated me about this documentary, right? Everything else is just very subjective, right? And it's whether, as I said, like, are you that person who flies the flag, you know? But there was two people said this thing because, again, a couple of people, Sadiq Khan was one of them, who is a toady, right? But it was just like, oh, there was a time when there'd be signs that said no blacks, no Irish, no dogs, right? And then this professor, I forget his name, he's just like, oh, but we changed that, right? Through hard work and determination. We changed that so we were accepted everywhere. And that's like going, oh, so are you saying that racism is because, let's say just some black people just didn't work hard enough, right? Weren't determined enough to stop it, right? That's why it still exists. The Irish, they fixed it. They fixed their racism. But yeah, black people and, Jews and Chinese, all of these, it's still because they just didn't work hard enough. It was just like, what the fuck are you talking about? It was, that was the one thing that was genuinely just fucking stupid, I thought, about this, you know? Like, the end was a bit dumb because it was just like, "Oh, can you tell me what an Irish goodbye? Can you demonstrate what an Irish goodbye is?" And it's just like, "Oh, what are we doing?" You know what I mean? Like, that statement that negates what the Irish goodbye was. Because an Irish good is, you're talking to someone and you think they've maybe gone to it for a drink, gone to the loo, something like that, and they just, yeah, they're gone. They're not saying goodbye or anything like that. But if you're saying, "Oh, can you show me what I," it's just like, oh, very stupid. But yeah, I'm in a bad mood. I to be honest with you, even if I was in a good mood, this wouldn't be for me. Uh, you know, as I said, like, these things aren't, you know, I give it a watch just because, I'm working with a new company. So I was like, yeah, I'll give this stuff a watch. And as I said, look, it's there's some interesting things for sure. We do get some history, some stuff that you didn't know, right? I genuinely didn't know an Irish man built designed the White House. Didn't know that. Interesting, you know? But yeah, I just I just think broad statements, sweeping statements, they're not my thing. So, quintessentially Irish, like quintessentially British, not for me. But if you like quintessentially British, right? If you like, you know, these sorts of things that take a look, it's for the people that like, oh, best of the 80s, right? Best of the 90s, those kind of shows. If they're your thing, then quintessentially Irish will be for you. And people, it will be dropping on a VOD near you on the 12th of March. So mark it down. Yeah, if you're interested, quintessentially Irish, 12th of March.